A little bit of an update. You know, today's Wednesday, right? This either be up later tonight or on Thursday. But so far, still nothing. Still no property. Anybody's paying attention to my other videos. The sheriff's department that robbed me, armed robbery by force, still has yet to answer for my property. And my property is stolen, and the sheriff's department is a part of that, and nothing's being done about it. And you know, so I guess before I get off track, we'll get into some. But anyways, that's the update. I have I'm planning on submitting my complaint to the coroner, but I'm still going to do that. But I'm sure they're gonna, you know, I don't know how that's gonna go, because it seems like Ohio has tried to word their stuff to take that away. What we have here in Ohio, right here in Defiance, Ohio, Defiance County, Ohio, and I'm sure it's not just here. They have pretty much made the sheriff the president, you know, even more powerful than that. They're making it to where we're not allowed to do nothing. You know, they're making it to where we have no recourse against corrupt sheriff, right? Because that's what's going on here. He can try to claim it ain't him, it wasn't him personally, but it was his deputies that violated me. My complaint was turned into him. I have not heard nothing, and it's been over a year, way over a year ago, that my original complaint was turned in. And I turned in a second one with stuff added to it. Still hear nothing from it. And I spoke him now with the chief deputy, which is second in command, I guess, 2 to 3 times now. After the first time I spoke to him, acts like he's gonna help, then I hear nothing back, and they show up with some 3-day notice I've never seen, you know, when they armed robbed me with guns out, you know. And that's exactly what it is. And if anyone don't want to see it that way, then one, either I'm not explaining this properly to you, or two, you're just ignorant. And, you know, sorry for that, but that's the truth. Okay, what else would you call it? Ain't nowhere any of us could go. You know, there is nowhere any of us can go, you or me, that I can go force somebody off their property, take away their private property, personal property, and not allow them to have it. And if I have any kind of weapon on me, that's armed robbery. So that's exactly what happened to me. And the sheriff forced me off my property, wouldn't allow me my personal belongings, my property, right, and handed it over to somebody not lawfully entitled. Okay, so that's what that is. Now the problem is, you know, what can you do about it? I'm making these videos, and a lot of that is to help share, teach, or whatever, educate, help share the education on what to do about these things, where you don't have to get tied up into lots of money for a lawyer who's going to work for them anyways and screw you over. They're all working together. They're all part of the same club, and we don't understand that. The lawyers, the legal system. Illegal is not unlawful. Let's talk about that. Legal is not lawful. Illegal is not unlawful. Okay? Legal and lawful are two different things. Okay? And legal and illegal is as it pertains to the rules that they want to set on you. And, you know, if you want to be bound by their rules, that's your choice. But lawful is as it pertains to the law, the actual law and the Constitution, right? And they want to claim I'm acting illegally, which, one, I don't care about that. I'm not obligated to do anything that against my own self, against my own rights. Okay, I'm not obligated to follow your rules. I'm not. You're not. We're not obligated to follow the rules. Okay, the only rules I need to follow is God's, and that's what the law is. And then when we break it down here in America, that's what the Constitution comes down to. Okay, the Constitution is the law. Everything else is rules and policies, and I'm not obligated to follow those. If I do so, it's out of kindness and respect, and because it's not contradicting what's lawful and my lawful rights. Okay, and once it contradicts my lawful rights, then it is my duty and your duty, everybody's duty, to stand against it and to disobey those rules. Okay, that's just the truth. Now here we are with no recourse. And as I was saying, I'm trying to show my videos on what we can do about it, because I looked into plenty of this stuff and learned quite a bit. And that's my goal, is to say, okay, well, if you end up in a situation, here's what you do and how you do it. And that's my original intentions when I started taking my videos in this direction. Right now I'm running into a lot of complications, and so sorry you're putting up with videos like this mostly for now, but hopefully my appeal turns out in my favor. It should, but will it? I don't know, because as I'm finding out so far, all of these people stick together. And I want to show people what you can do when you end up in a situation like mine. The problem is, they're hitting me so hard to tell you the right thing to do. Is it gonna work? Just because you know that you're doing something right. If I show other people the stuff I've learned on how to submit not just your complaints, but to submit your court papers and how to fill them out and how to do it all properly and run it through court and run it through the legal system, or run your complaints through the proper chains, and I show you how to do that. The problem is, I look like a fool because none of it's working. And that's the problem. All of it should be working. Most of I should not be in this spot right now. Right now I should be making videos, not calling all these. About that. Right now I should be making my videos, not so much calling these people out, but getting them to. I should be making my videos showing you, hey, this is what you do. This way, like I'm saying, it's my goal that people will learn how to do it properly and respectfully, so that you don't go into court screwing yourself over, and the court people don't have to put up with some ignorant ass in there trying to claim, well, you can't do this to me, and have no idea what they're talking about, or try to come in there with some free man stuff that don't work and all that stuff. Not to say it ain't, some of them other ways ain't right, ain't the correct way to do it, but nobody's honoring it. Nobody's being honorable, and that's one thing that I keep hitting on, is nobody's being honorable. All these people under oath, and none of them's following their oath. And this is a problem. Like I tell you, okay, well, you take your complaint to the sheriff, you try to do it respectfully, you let him know what's up. Well, he wants to ignore it because it was his deputies that started it. And then you try to go into the court and submit your stuff there properly, and they ignore it because they're pals with each other. So what do? Well, then you go further up and you keep, but everybody's sticking together. I'm still planning on showing these ways, but at this point right now, I'm like, why? Nothing works. I'm doing everything the way it's supposed to be done, and nothing works. Okay, the truth is, if I go to, since I went to the sheriff and he ignores it, then I went to the court and they ignore it, so then I go to the attorney general, he ignores it and gives me excuses. I go to these other organizations here, other offices, so you gotta watch how you call them. It's not the sheriff's department. It's the sheriff's office. The sheriff does not have a department. He has the office, right? Because he's an elected official. All that's true. The stuff they try to explain to you when you go in there, yeah, that's true. But what they're not saying is, what they're trying to ignore is the fact that if I go to the county commissioner, if I go to even to the mayor, to the attorney general, if I go to any of these people who are elected officials here in Ohio, it's their duty, most likely everywhere you're at, it's their duty to help you get in the right direction for recourse, because you reached out to them and they are under oath to protect your constitutional rights. Okay, and instead they look the other way because one of their pals that are also under oath has chosen to violate that oath. What do you do? Well, we'll get to that. We're going to figure it out one way or another. And you can't tell me, but you can, okay, I'm hearing different things now from different friends. One friend was somebody they was working with, I guess, seen the video where I caught the chief deputy up there at the auto parts store, right? And then they want to give me the what for because they know him and he's a good guy supposedly and all this. No, he's not a good guy. No, he's not a good guy. One, he totally lied to me, and instead of doing the right thing and calling me back and saying, okay, here's what we figured out, we can't do nothing for you, or here's what we figured out, we're going to help you, instead he ignored me. They wait till a 3-day notice is given, then they wait till that 3-day, and was never given to me. It was just written out by the bank's lawyer. The bank's lawyer sent it to the court. The judge just simply signed it. He didn't fill none of that paperwork out. He didn't make that order. The bank's lawyer did. And that's what's going on in a lot of your cases, whether it be foreclosure or credit cards, whatever they're coming after you for, or whether it be a criminal matter. Whatever the issue is, when the prosecutor wants to come against you, he fills out these orders, he fills out the paperwork, like this notice they gave me, right? He fills that out and then just hands it over for the judge to sign it. And the judge just signs it, instead of being a judge and judging it on lawful matters, because every bit of my situation the lawfulness has been ignored. The unlawfulness has been ignored. And the lawfulness is not being upheld. They're acting totally unlawful. And, and not one of these public servants is saying, okay, we're going to help you do something. Oh, the sheriff's untouchable. The sheriff's untouchable. Then we need to get him out of there. Okay, that means he's a dictator. Okay, because he's not abiding by our rights. Okay, and since nobody else, and people want to laugh this off and make a fool out of me for saying this, but this is the 100% truth. I guarantee you this. And this is how this country was founded, if people would realize this. That the fact of the matter is, because they are taking away all recourse and all available options and not abiding by them, then it is up to us, the people who are in charge, to put these people in their place. You are the servant, you will serve. If you don't want to be the servant, then get on out. But if you don't want to be the servant, then you're going to serve the way we say. Okay, you don't get to say, oh, I'm the sheriff now, and screw all you guys, I'm going to violate you. And because nobody's above me, well, guess what? Then we're going to get your ass out of there. And I got too many people around this area who just aren't seeing it. That was one case, and I got a couple other friends that say, they're watching my stuff and in agreement with me, but they'll tell me stuff about, they talk to so-and-so, like supposedly another person was telling me about their friend seen one of my videos and said, oh, well, he's on drugs and stuff he's saying, and look at him now, he's lost so much weight. Are we going to be that ignorant? Okay, if you're not watching the rest of my videos, you don't know what's going on. Well, don't judge me until you go back and watch what's going on. Okay, they made me into a homeless man, penniless. Of course, I'm not eating right. Okay, right? I'm losing a lot of weight, or have, and then I don't say these things to get people all worried about me. I got reasons to worry, but that's not everybody else's worry about, I don't need people worrying if I'm starving or if I'm eating right or if I'm, different situations. And because I got people who are looking out for me, if they know I need something or they're being helpful, I want to watch out, like I said in one of my other videos, about giving too many shout outs right now to personal friends, because I don't want the system coming after them, because that's the way it seems is going on. But anyways, I got people that are on my side and looking out for me, and so I'm not trying to give the wrong impression that I'm sitting here like, oh, nobody cares and nobody understands, because they do. But I'm talking about the general consensus, especially here in Defiance. I bumped into people that kind of know me, but not real well, but usually have something to say to me, and now they're distancing themselves from me, because here I am going after all these people, and nobody wants to stand up with me. The community needs to understand this, and this is wrong. The sheriff is not a dictator. He is not all powerful. He is not God. He is not the governor, and he's not the president. He's none of that. He's the sheriff. Okay, if he wants to start acting like Andy Griffith, I'll back off. But if he wants to continue stepping on me, I will not stop till we have him removed. And that's just how it is. Okay, and if it don't happen this year, I won't stop till next year. Two things are going to happen. Either I will die first, or I will continue until it happens. Okay, because this community deserves better. This ain't just for me. Okay, it's for the naysayers who don't know yet, and who haven't felt the wrath of these people yet. It's for these people who want to be blind to it. Okay, because I've already gone through it. I could just accept it and move on, right? Not except for the charges I want off my record, right? But otherwise, what else? I'm only doing for myself. It's only making it worse on me, obviously. But all these naysayers, my problem is for the children who are growing up into this, it's only going to be worse for them. Okay, corruption is so bad now. We hear about stories way back in the day, like 50s and 60s, whatever, maybe even the 70s. Cops come up, kick out your tail light because a bad cop. A lot of cops were good, but you had the bad ones, and they'd kick out your tail light, or oh, you got a broken tail light, or whatever. What do you think is going on now? They don't even have to kick your tail light out. All they got to say is you got a tail light out, and it ain't even out, and they nail you for it. And you better accept it. You better accept it, or it's not going to go down good, right? Well, I say horse shit. No way. Gone are the days of honesty in the legal system. I'll tell you a story about my uncle. Years ago, he's no longer with us, but my one uncle, years ago, he's a great guitar player. He had several nice guitars, and had a little band going, whatever. And he was drinking. He got pulled over, and I mean, this was years ago. This stuff don't happen now, but he got pulled over, and the cop gave him what for. He was drinking. He's going to tow his car away, and my uncle was fine with it, except he said, I ain't leaving them guitars. You ain't leaving my car here waiting for a tow truck with my guitars. The cop kept arguing with him, and my uncle said, I ain't having it. And so my uncle challenged him. He says, I'll take you out in the field right now and kick your ass. The cop went along with it. So I think it was state police, whatever it was, I don't know, this a long time ago. But, well, you see that groundhog over there? You chill out. You better stop it. But Whiskey sees a groundhog. Anyway, all right. Hey, the whole town hears you. Okay, so the cop went along with it. Well, it ended up in court, and the cop was all hurt because my uncle kicked his butt out in the field, right? You ain't taking my vehicle, and my guitars, and so that's what happened. This was, the cop accepted it, right? And when it went to court, the judge threw it out and looked at the cop and said, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. One, you're a man of law enforcement, and you let this man overpower you, and you accepted the challenge. It's your fault, right? But that don't happen anymore. I guarantee you, if anything like that happened today, you'd be sitting in jail, even if the cop did accept it, even if you were technically in the right, you'd still be sitting in jail. That shit ain't going down, okay? All you got to do is refuse to let them take your stuff, and they're going to beat you and take you to jail. Okay, what they accuse me of, what they did to me the night they took me to jail was way worse than what they accused me of being guilty of. and I wasn't guilty, okay? And they're accusing me of admitting to pushing somebody, and I did not admit to pushing somebody, okay? That's the officer's words. The problem is, it goes into court, they accept the officer's words as truth, even though he's a lying piece of crap. I go in there and I try not to lie to anybody, period, ever. I'm not trying to raise me up as being somebody great or something, but that I hate liars. I hate lies. And there's a reason for that. Lies destroy things. There's a reason God hates liars. There's a reason God hates lies. Okay? Because it destroys all of us. All of his creation is destroyed by lies. Okay? Look around you. We are living in a world that is built on nothing but lies. There's no truth anywhere. And if you tell the truth, you get kicked out, kicked off of platforms, you get censored out. The truth is unwelcome. Okay? And so, what are we to do? What are we to do? I don't know. So this is a little bit of babbling today, because, like I said, I did get a call, but I happened to be borrowing a friend's shower at the time. And today I feel pretty good because it's been like 4 days since I've been able to shower. I shower every day. I haven't been able to do that stuff lately because of the situations they have caused for me. Okay? But so today I went and borrowed a friend's shower, and while I was in the shower, they tried to call me. Well, then I called back, and he's busy the rest of the day, so he's gonna call. This is where I went yesterday. On yesterday's video was to the commissioner's office, the county commissioner. So one of the county commissioners called me and said he'd be happy to listen to my concern. How far is this gonna go? I don't know. But my point is to let people know how to do this. Is I'm going to continue taking this to every elected official, every official under oath. I'm just going to continue doing it because eventually no one can claim that they had no one's going to be able to claim they didn't know. And then they're all going to have to answer for why they didn't uphold their oath and help me find justice, okay, from a corrupt sheriff's office. Right, I myself am guilty of saying sheriff's department. It's embedded in us. But we got to realize that what the words mean on everything. Words are way more powerful. And when you go in there saying, "Well, you just look stupid to him," sheriff's department is okay. This guy don't know what he's talking about. You go in there, it's the sheriff's office, and when you're saying that, you're acknowledging that you understand that sheriff is an elected official, which means you are his boss. You are the judge's boss. And I mean, that don't mean they can't judge against you, right? If you really are, if they're upholding the real law, and they want to if they're actually going by the real law, and you're guilty of breaking the law, then by all means do your job. But when you're being corrupt, and you're letting your friends off of everything, and giving light sentences to your friends, or no sentences at all. We got a couple of different people in this town that was here in. I say town, they call it a city. It's just a shithole is what it is. But there's a couple of different cases of certain people connected that were busted for sex offenses, right? Whatever, this form or that form, whatever. But they ended up with no jail time, very light sentences. And meanwhile, they're taking these kids that are getting caught up in just stupid, childish shit, and they're acting against them and slamming them hard with because they're not connected, and they're just ruining their lives. Not to say some of this shit ain't morally right, but but when it comes to law, is something different, and none of these people have morals anyways. So I'm kind of going all over the place, I guess, a little bit on that stuff. But the point is, they're taking away all options, but I'm going to continue following those options and letting everybody know how I'm doing it and what's going on. And so to tell you my reason for right now, I'm getting nowhere. Right, I'm still now the month. Actually, it probably is up for my stuff. How much are they going to tell me I owe to have my own property? My property was stolen from me, armed robbery. Okay, and the sheriff's department was a part of that, and the videos are already there enough to prove it. Okay, There's enough to prove right there. There's enough to show that the sheriff's department yanked me out of my house, forced me off of my property with no one else there except the sheriff's department. They had no reason to do that, no right to do that. And the chief deputy wants to say, well, it's a court order and we got to follow what the court says. No, they do not. Let's make that clear right now. The sheriff does not answer to the court. He answers to the people. And he does what the court says as long as the court is within the law. But when the stuff isn't within the law, it's not up to him to enforce it. But why would he? Because he's the one that acted against me to begin with. And, you know, so I'm waiting to hear from, now they said he's busy the rest of the day, he'll call you tomorrow. So when I'm waiting to talk to him and see what he's going to do about it. And then from there, if he doesn't want to help, then I'm going to go to the coroner. We'll see if that gets anywhere. But eventually all these people who don't want to uphold their oath are going to be all held accountable and put into a lawsuit against this stuff. All they would have had to done any time was stand up and say, okay, you're right, this is wrong, let us fix it. Okay, I wouldn't be here on video calling all of them out. You know, I wouldn't be raising hell all through town. I'd be doing some audits and see how that goes, you know, just some petty stuff. But then I'd be hitting other areas and doing, you know, it wouldn't be coming after them, but they came after me and made it personal, right? And they refused to fix it, refused to do anything about it. And that's just where that's at. I got a few other things on my mind I want to talk about my situation, my case, and how I got here, and the people involved. And I've been kind of, I don't want to turn this into some drama shit about my life or whatever, you know, so I want to be careful on how I say stuff. But I want to talk about a few things about, I don't want to totally put out the person that did call the police on me. I've been kind of protecting them a little bit, which I have absolutely no reason to, you know, that's just how I'm trying to be there. But to explain how these people are, and you know, it's just, that's a different subject anyway. But I gotta get comfortable with letting some of that out so we can have some stuff to talk about that, and you know, talk about the kind of people that caused this on you to begin with. But so, I mean, that's all we need to be clear on that. These, your elected officials, just because, you know, if I go to the mayor, the city, whoever, I go to any of these people and they say, well, sheriff's elected official, ain't nothing I can do about that. Somebody can do something, and none of them want to help. Okay, and none of them, you know. Anyway, that's where all that is. And then otherwise, I was earlier talking about the park, and, you know, I'm not trying to cut them down on beautifying the park or whatever, beautifying the neighborhoods and stuff like that, making them more pleasant and stuff like that. I'm not trying to cut on that. The decisions on how they're doing it. You're doing all this stuff right before winter hits, when we know it floods here. And when I say floods, I mean where I'm parked at right now, right along the river, right here, right? Where I'm parked at right now, at a certain part of the, whenever it starts flooding in the winter, I guarantee you right now it'll be over the top of my truck. Okay, these shelter buildings that I show you, that I've already shown, but these shelter buildings back there, the water covers you only see the tips of the roofs sticking out. That's how high it gets here. And you know, so instead, or you know, why didn't you wait for that until the flooding is done? Unless they got plans to now that the houses are all bought up, maybe they got plans to build up this bank like they did the other side. I don't know. But the point is, I'm not trying to say anything against fixing up the community and making it look better. You know, we're all for that. But what things are being neglected while you're worried about just this, you know, this park, and then over there's a library, you know, across this river is the library, and then across the next river is the other park, and they just want to beautify that section, you know, and dumping all this money into it, taxpayer money, and you know, maybe some of it's government, federal grants, but by accepting those federal grants means they're going to trample all over your rights. And that's how they get that. They obey the government and they get that money. Okay, if they don't want to follow those policies, then they don't get that money. And that's what's going on here. So, you know, a lot of people say, well, what has the mayor actually done to you? What the mayor's done to all of us here in Defiance, okay, he is selling us out and allowing policies, and the city council people just to, like, you know, and I'm not going to count every single one of them, but there's names that when we have to, we'll be throwing them out there, right? So, but I'm not trying to against that, you know. Yeah, we can make, but what about some of these roads that need repaired for a long time? Shit roads, certain areas you go through, well, because they don't care about them areas, you know what I'm saying? Or what about other things that we could be doing to help this community out, you know, to help the people out, you know? Instead, we're making it worse on the people, but putting all our resources on fixing something that ain't broke. Okay, it's not like the park is ugly. It's not like the park any real needs. They didn't need to paint this stuff yet, you know, or whatever. And it's okay that they did, right? I suppose. But is everything else taken care of like it should be first? Because the park didn't need nothing. They're just trying to go for their vision. And I used to have, you know, I'll see if I can find it. I had gotten a hold of, long before these plans were ever made public, I got a hold of the map they drew that shows all three of these parks right here connected with the walk bridge, and how and that's what they're starting on right here, putting in the walkways, all this stuff that really wasn't needed. You know, am I trying to condemn them for it? No, but I'm saying we got a bunch of other worries that are being overlooked just so you guys can make this park look great, you know. Otherwise, I don't got a whole lot to say more than that. I wanted to rant on about the whole thing, our public servants, the sheriff, you know, and what can you do? So a lot of people don't know. Very important thing to know is most states, I don't know, they seem to be changing the wording in their laws, their rules, right, to say who's more authority than who or whatever. But you can, if you have a problem with the sheriff, you can go to the coroner. Okay, well, I'll say you can go to the county commissioners, okay, but they're going to end up telling you, well, he's an elected official on his own. But you can go to the coroner, and the coroner can help you do something about it. They're going to claim they can't, but they are empowered to help you against the sheriff. Whether they're going to or not, I don't know. We're going to find out anyway. But, you know, here I am, still none of my stuff, you know. And how do I get enough attention on this? I'm in Defiance County. The Defiance County Sheriff's Office has robbed me at gunpoint of my property and refused to return it. I'm talking about even just my clothes. Okay, somebody found a shirt that fit me and let me use the shirt that fit me so I could change my clothes for once. I've been wearing the same clothes pretty much since all this started, because they have my clothes, they have every last piece of my property. I had to come up with some money to buy another dog leash because he chewed through his leash, you know, and that's caught on the one video, right? And I have at least two, I think maybe three, but I have at least two other leashes I had in my house. Well, they took all my property. They wouldn't allow me my property, wouldn't allow me nothing. That's what's going on here. I don't want to talk too much. I got another video I want to work on that's more than just this babbling stuff. Kind of like a couple other videos I made up, but I got to I'm waiting for some stuff to charge, and I got to get some of this out of my mind so I can focus. I don't want to be making certain point. I don't want to be making a video that has a point that's supposed to be made, but here I am going all over making other points. Those could be saved for other videos. You know, when I'm talking, like there's like the one case where I showed the South Carolina cop who got fired and charged for what he done, and there's another kind of similar case that somebody sent to me earlier this morning, but I haven't gotten to it yet because I gotta get my mind cleared out, and I gotta have my stuff charged up to be able to edit properly. he still there bugging you? But anyway, I guess talk to you later.